Welcome to the last part of Hour 7 in the series I call Design and Code My Personal Website in 12 Hours. We've been working on the mentoring section for the past few videos, and today is going to be the last one. We're going to make sure that this design looks great on a mobile device. Let's not take up too much time yapping. Here we go. So there's one last thing we need to do to make this like the best, and that is cater to mobile. Right now this strategy is completely desktop appropriate, and watch what happens when I shrink this thing down to mobile. So click on the mobile thing here and refresh. Look at our mobile strategy so far. Keep on hacking works, the home works, scrolling down, this is kind of beat up. I guess it kind of works down here at the side, but that's not really what we want it to look like, right? Why are these not centered? These need to be centered. Let's go back to, I just noticed this right now, the lead, the home-lead class, when it's mobile, needs to be centered. It's left aligned right now. So let's just quickly fix that with home.sass. And that's go down the typography section, outdent. So right now this media query is only on the outdent. Let's just put it to everything, and then we'll say home lead, and then outdented. Okay, home lead. Home lead, I want you to be text align center. Thank you. And that looks better on both accounts. Okay, that was just a little side note. All right, now, so what we want to do is figure out what should be happening right here. Oh, and why is there two? Wait, what was that? Why did you see the two balloons that popped? Oh, why? I'll tell you why that happened. That happened because this bit right here, this happened after I had already clicked a different one. How do we stop that from happening? Well, I'll tell you how we stop that from happening. Set timeout. We do this. We say if, okay, if dot face, no, if jQuery object, if jQuery object dot face, come on, there we go, dot has class of what is this called? It has bubble open. Then do that. And do the indentions correctly. Okay, so you might be saying if it has it, then do it. Well, I don't want it. I want to do the negative of that. So I want to put a bang in front of the statement. Okay, so now it says if there's already one of these faces that has bubble open, don't put the bubble on the third one, right? So let's try this now. Now it's working. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, that happened. And then we fixed it. Done. So what are we going to do about these? What are we going to do about this? Here's what I think that I would like. I would like these faces that go vertically. I would like them to go horizontally across. You can just tap them across horizontally, and the bubble would show up. So what? Okay, so let's go into the Sass to take care of that. And we'll just go down here to the very bottom and we'll just start hacking away at a media query. And we know that our special media query is at max width of 640 pixels. And we know that because that is the 2 columns plus all their margins. Any smaller than that, and then this is where the business happens. Okay, the first thing we have to worry about is these faces. Face. And I don't want them to be vertically anymore, I want them to be horizontal. So I need to stack them horizontally. So instead of making them block elements, I'll call them display inline block elements. And that way, well, let's just see. Inline block. Where did they go? Seriously, where did they go? They're just way up there. Let me turn off the overflow so I can see where they all went. Okay. Okay, there's, why are they, oh, because of the negative on faces, right? Remember that its parent has, let's see. Let's put new margins on there. 0, we're going to start with 0. Okay. Oh, wild. So check it out. The top, oh, this is crazy. So remember the vertical math and all that stuff? That that ended up putting everything down to 230 down here, which is interesting because it's actually a pretty good height. It's actually a pretty good height for what I'm trying to do. I want the bubble above the faces, and I want the faces all in line like that. So that's pretty interesting. Let's put the face, you want a margin left of, what was it, 35 pixels? Yeah. And I need the faces to have, the box needs to be width. The width needs to be that 115 pixels times however many faces there are, and in this case there are 6. Okay, so it's going to be wider. That's good. Let's get that balloon to be bottom 100% and then margin bottom, 10 pixels. Oh, it's not called balloon, it's called bubble. And then, let's see, left. The reason I put it at 300 is because that's going to be like, kind of like if I have it at, let's see, iPhone 5, it's 320 pixels wide. I still need to get these faces. Not margin left. Let's put that margin on the right. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. And get the margin left to be 0.
Okay, now that balloon is like, on the left. So if I click these other ones, it's not going to be where I want it to be. It's not going to be what I want. It's not going to be where I want it to be. Thinking about this, I have two more things that I want to do. Number one, I want to scoot these things off to the left. When I click on this second face, I want to scoot the whole thing off to the left. And the balloon is actually showing up where I want it to be in relation to its parent, right? Let me show you how to do a media query in JavaScript. We have this click function here, mentoring bubble click. Mentoring bubble click. It should be face clicks. We're clicking on faces, not bubbles, whatever. If you click on the face, this is what happens. Now let's take the result of the click, right, and put it in the if. If the jQuery object window width, so we're going to measure the window. Basically, it's just like a media query that you're used to in CSS, but it's in JavaScript. We're going to take the width and say if the width is bigger than that magical number of 640, then if it's bigger, then do this stuff that we have been talking about. Else, so if it doesn't have, if it's smaller than 640, we want to be doing that mobile magic jQuery right here. And that means it's, let's see, what do we want it to be? We just want to scoot it to the left instead of scoot it to the top, right? So let's do some querying here to get some variables. We'll say face left, similar to this, right? But we're just going to get the left. And then we'll do some left math, or rather, in keeping with the theme, instead of vert math, we call it horiz math. Because I'm so good at naming things. All right, so this will be positioned to the left, and this will be face left minus 230. Is that right? Left math will be, no, it won't be that crazy. It'll just be, we'll just start with 0, and then we'll minus left math, right? All right, so if that's true, then we're going to take, let's see. Well, first thing we need to do, let's go back to the CSS, and we'll say faces top, was it 230 pixels? No. Yeah, it was. Oh, you know what's screwing me up is this whole like rising up from the bottom thing that I did here. Scroll top, scroll window, scroll. This one right here. If you scroll, add launched, that one. So why don't we say if that's true and it's bigger, right? So here's the, if your scroll mentor section offset top, so if you scroll down and we're going to move it around, if that's true and it's also not in a mobile view, then do the whole, launched kind of thing. So, cool, man. All right, so now nothing's happening, but that's what we want. Let's go back to our functions. I didn't want all the faces to jump up like that. So what I've got to do is write some functions now for the clicks, because I have an else nothing. We want to take the same idea of this one, the face, find the parent, click top, except for this time we're doing left and we want to do horiz math. That's the worst name ever. Horiz math. It means horizontal, not the other thing you're thinking. All right, let's try it out. Sucks. Didn't work. Why? Console, click the parent. Horace math is not defined. Horace math. Oh. It needs an I. Okay. Okay, let's do it now. Let's do it now. Good. Wow, I don't know how to overcome that, but anyway, looks good. This is just the exact movement I wanted. Except for, that same problem of when you first refresh, your first click is just snaps right to it instead of moves. The same problem is it should be defined here as left 0 pixels. Now when we start it again, it should move, yeah, from the very beginning. Okay, cool. Now let's go back to functions and start popping that balloon. You know what I'm saying? So go to the parent and move it. The thing that you clicked, this again, add class, right? Oh, basically these things. This same thing. This same thing. If it's that same thing, we don't need it to be in the if-else statement, but I just want to see if it's the right thing. So let's just try this first. Same thing, same thing. Okay, that's the same thing. So we don't need it in the if-else statement, so let's move it outside of the if-else X and just put it right below. And then move it out of this one. Because we want the bubble to be popping either way. All this if-else is doing is saying if it's, this side of the window, then move it this way, and if it's smaller or bigger, move it that way. That's kind of what it's saying. So, oops, D, what is D? Save. Good. Oh my life, that's weird. Okay, so we have this situation of it's kind of like the narrow use case of somebody's clicking around here and then they move their browser in, and you're going to be like, oh, well, actually that really worked out because it was the first one, but like what if it's like the third one and then they move in and you're like, wait a second, that's too tall and it's just like wrong, right? What we need to do is have like an ultimate reset of everything. So like if you move it around and you snap into the Slim Jim, nope. If you snap it into the right place or you hit that media query, then move it to the start place for that platform. Move it out, move it into the right place for that, right? For desktop. So here's how we're going to do this. We're going to go down the bottom. We're going to make a new function. And this function starts with looking at the window. And the handler is called resize. And so that's saying like whenever you resize the window, basically like this function is going to start firing. This function is going to start firing. And what's going to be happening? Well, let's put that media query in here. Because when that function fires, we want to be checking the media query. If it's this way, then we want to just kind of like load. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to simplify things. Instead of like looking in different areas and sections and stuff, we're just going to make a little block of code, a function that we will call right here, and it's going to be like the go-to start point for each of the states, right? So this is going to be like mentoring wide start. Got it? Good. And then we'll say If it's not that, meaning else, or else meaning if it's not that, go to mentoring narrow. Okay, those are the two functions definitively that will define the start state of each of the things. All right, so let's start with mentoring narrow, just because we've been looking at that right now. So function mentoring narrow start is going to look something like this. What do I want it to look like when it's narrow? Well, I know that I want the faces to have some certain CSS properties. Like if we're over here in the desktop version, and they're clicking around, like the left and the top is getting all, you know, like specified to other things. So what we want to do is basically just reset that stuff to, you know, what I want them to be. So top, I want it to be 0 pixels, and same with the left actually, comma. Zero pixels. Let's see if this is right. So I have this like bubble popped out up here. Let's move it in. Boom. I don't want it to be top 0. I want to be 230. I think you know what I mean. I think you know. I think you know why too. Yep. But also, I want the first one. There's another function in here of faces. Let's say there's CSS. Okay, so after the CSS, we'll say first add class of, let's move this. Okay, well anyway, add class of, was it like has bubble open. And siblings, let's move this down a little bit, one line. And siblings remove class, this same thing. All right, so if here's a perfect case in the desktop view, this last one, Mary, has the bubble. But as I squeeze it in, I want it to reset to the bubble will be on the first person, and everything will be positioned right. Let's try it. Oof, almost. Oh, here's why. I said faces first. It is not faces first. It should be face first. Okay, let's try that again. So take it out here, JavaScript, refresh, Mary, and squeeze it in. Here we are, 640, boom. Yeah, LJ. LJ's got it going on. And beginning, oh yeah, LJ is doing it again. Or something. Joey, that's exactly what I want. So that's the mentoring narrow start. Let's talk about copy and paste the mentoring wide start. What? Wide start. Okay, so I want faces to be top 0, left 0. That's true. And then face, I want not the first to add class, but it's going to be the third. So nth child 3, like this. All right, so we'll move some, we'll click Andrew, squeeze it in, and it should be LJ. All right, LJ, click Andrew again, squeeze it out, and it should be Kimberly. Down to L.J. Bennett, Joey, and out, and it goes to Kimberly. All right, everything seems to be acting just as I want it, which is great, right? Wouldn't you want everything to be acting just as you want it? One problem I'm noticing now is that if I get to the end of these scrolling things, if I get to Mary's face, I can't get back, right? The format just won't allow it. I have to refresh, and that's just silly. Oh, why does the balloon never pop? Why does the balloon never pop? Why does a balloon never pop? During narrow start. Oh, that's just if you move in the thing. But if, oh goodness, I'm glad I noticed this. Okay, so on your phone you can't control the width. It just is the width. And this would never pop a balloon, so we need to handle the use case of this right here. How does the balloon naturally pop? So that's going to be with the W scroll right here. So what this line 42 is saying, if the mentoring section offset top is 500, so this is like, we're talking about the scroll, and the width is 640. Why did I want the width to be 640? Because face add class launched. Launched seems reasonable. What does launched do? They just top 0. Okay. Here we'll do this. We'll nest an if. If and we'll just move this media query down there. There we go. If that happens here, and there we are. Okay. Else. Okay, so this is going to be happening if it's not 640. If it's smaller than that, we want to basically run this code. Right? Let me check on that again. If I could open this mobile view, and it's lower than 640. Scrolling down, and that pops up. Good, that's what I wanted. That's really what I wanted. Okay, last thing is if I get to Mary's face here, I can't get back to read the other one. So I want to create another button right here. And this button is going to be a little bit different. It's just going to be an LI with it's just like a back button. Right? The back button is going to look a little bit different. So, but it's still a face and back button. It's just going to be like, oh, I have this SVG already sorted out. Looks like right here. Oh, you can't see it, but it's like an angle. It's an icon. I'll show you what I mean. Background image. I want it to be white with the URL image here of back icon .svg, and I want it to be centered and no repeat. I need to make it a face, not just back button, so that way it can have those attributes like size and dimension as well. And then so that's the back button right there. So let me get the faces with width. Okay, so you need to be times 7 now because there's 7 of you, not just 6. And let's take this background and say background size. You see how this icon's all just like too big? I want it to be, a lot smaller. Let's say 15 pixels wide and like 26 pixels tall. Yeah, there we go. So now we go over here. We got this button that'll take us back. But if it's on the vertical here, I don't want it to show. So I'll say display none here, and then over here, face and back button display inline block. You need to show up. There we are. Okay, so the back button. What do we want the back button to do? Let's go into our functions and we'll say click, 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 click. When we click on something here, it's a face, right? If this thing that you clicked on has a class of back button, then do something else, do what you already do. All right, so we need to define what that something is. That something is, it's basically this. Start, no, here you go, narrow start. Right? Let's see what we got. So mentoring, click 1, 2, 3, back button. Oh man, why does the narrow start not pop the balloon? Why is that? Oh, I know why. Because this right here is like telling me to add or I bet you that, yeah, has bubble open is on the back button class. We'll say this has class back button. So if none of these faces have bubble open and this thing is bang, it's not the back button, then do this thing. Otherwise, do let this be the thing, right? I hope this works. Here we are, Mary. But line 22 now is saying that after you put that narrow start class on the first one that I told you to, take the one you just clicked on and do that. So that's why right here the back button has bubble open class on it. We could do this. Oh, I'm getting tired. So I'm like writing like weird code right now. Okay, that worked. So let's say we have Andrew quote, and hit the back button, and then goes to LJ Bennett. Okay, this could probably be better code. What do I mean probably? It definitely could be better code, but it's done, and it's late. So we're gonna stop it there. I'm happy with the functionality. It looks and acts fantastic. I couldn't be more happy with this section. And I'm looking forward to get into the next section. Thanks for watching.
Isn't that wonderful? See, look at that. Looks fantastic. I'm so excited about this. And I love wrapping up a long video. So tune in next week on Monday when we start hour 8. And until then, keep keep on hacking.